Hi everyone, comic book reviewer here. This time reviewing on Shrek 2. Now, Shrek 2 is meant to be a 2004 computer animated comedy film that is meant to be the sequel to Shrek. I remember as a kid seeing the film in cinema and being blown away by how amazing it was. And I would say after watching Blockbuster Buster's review on the film, and after seeing Nostalgia Critic's review on it, I decided to give the film my own shot on it. And I think after rewatching the film, I think it definitely holds up well, even though it does sort of copy and paste elements of the first film. So the premise of the film is meant to feature how after the newlyweds Shrek and Fiona return from their honeymoon, we see how they've been called by Fiona's parents to meet Shrek, unaware of what happened in the first film. And we do kind of see how Shrek does have some mixed feelings about it, and we kind of see how Fiona's parents, King Harold, as well as Queen Lillian, are a bit shocked, but we do kind of see how Lillian is willing to give Shrek a chance, but we see how King Harold is a little shocked, disgusted, and horrified about this. And of course, there is more truths about Harold's reaction than there is. And of course, it turns out he is indebted to the fairy godmother, as she pretty much used it as a way to kind of get Fiona to turn to an ogre so she could have the kingdom of Far, Far Away, so her son, Prince Charming, could basically take over the territory. And I think the point of the fairy godmother is a bit of a con artist, a bit of a smooth talker, or a bit of a loan shark. Like, she helps you with one thing, she expects something out of greed and in return. And I think her character's a great metaphor about being careful of loan sharks, sort of conmen and everything else. And we do kind of see how after meeting Puss in Boots being hired by King Harold, this is where we see how Shrek wants to come to the conclusion that he wants to change himself for Fiona's sake. And we do kind of see how, yeah, Puss in Boots goes along with them, and I think Puss in Boots' character is not that bad. Again, he's just started out in the second film, and I think his character is obviously meant to be Zorro, and I think Antonio Banderas plays this character who comes across like this noble but kind of good-hearted character as you get to know him later on. And I think for the most part, I think the film does have a message with Shrek, much like Centaur World. Don't change yourself for the wrong reasons, and sometimes trying to change yourself is going to come with dangerous repercussions. And I think for the most part, I think, yeah, the film does copy elements from the first film. Like, obviously, yeah, there's going to be a transformation sequence, there's going to be some misunderstanding that's going to be cleared up, and it's going to have the true love's first kiss scenario, and it's going to kind of have the characters try to set things right, and it's going to have them stopping the event, much like the first film. And I kind of think it's just the writer's way of saying, hey, remember the first film? Do you want to watch the first film again? Which, yeah, I can see what they were trying to do. And I think what's interesting is, even as a kid, I even noticed how they did sort of plant the seeds for Shrek the Third. Like showing where Rapunzel and Cinderella were, Queen Lillian mentioned about the children, much to Shrek and Howard's disgust. And you can even tell there's gonna be, like, obviously a bit of hints of Prince Charming becoming the next villain in the third film. And I think for the most part, I think Shrek 2 is definitely a film that's not too bad. And I think it still holds up pretty well. And I think for the most part, I think, yeah, they actually do kind of show how King Harold is a little more, at first, disgusted, but you can tell later on does show signs that he's starting to regret his actions, and even questioning if he's doing the right thing. I think the way I kind of see King Harold is a bit like someone not giving someone's boyfriend, girlfriend, or someone from another background a chance, but later start to kind of question if they're really doing the right thing or not. And I think the point of the fairy godmother is about not giving people from other cultures, backgrounds, and at a chance, and still believing how they view things from what was then and not when is now. And I think for the most part, I do think Shrek 2 still holds up pretty well. And I think if you're a fan of the first film, I do recommend giving the second one a go and kind of seeing how it's going to work. And I think that's the thing. I think, in my opinion, I think DreamWorks can handle a good story and know what to tell its audience. So I think this film definitely deserves a thumbs up. Still holds well, is still good, and I think, well, even though it copies some elements of the first film, it still knows what it wants to be. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.